Do you like to get things done just right? Do you want them to be just perfect? Or are you one of those free souls that doesn't really pay too much attention to how well things turn out and what your efforts translate into? Well, I'm here to talk to those of you who struggle with perfection. And I say struggle because, as admirable as aiming for perfection can be, it can also give you more grief than necessary. Trying to achieve perfection can cause stress and anxiety in your life because it's very easy to say that you can never achieve perfection. And that's a general statement. There are many people who will identify as someone who likes to strive for perfection, and then they can very easily identify that point in their efforts when they feel like what they've achieved, the efforts of their work is there. They've achieved that particular state of perfection that they were working for, and that's fine, that's great. What I'm talking about here is those of you who can't seem to reach that perfection. The project is never done. Sometimes what happens, not only do you experience stress and anxiety as a result of that, you may also find yourself procrastinating because deep down you know that you cannot achieve perfection. So why bother? Why struggle? Why fight with it? You put it off altogether. And then if you do that, if you procrastinate, you know that it all seems to fall on your head and collapse at the end if there's a deadline, especially. So I want to make sure that if perfection is something that you can identify as being a big part of your life, it's important that you're able to assess honestly. It's just you and you. Assess honestly whether perfection is causing you stress, causing you anxiety, causing you sleepless nights, and causing you to procrastinate. Because if it is, you have got to let go of that. You have got to let go of that. Those are the cases where striving for perfection is more destructive than anything else. What I advise you focus on instead of perfection is excellence. Striving for excellence is a whole different animal. Striving for excellence means aiming to do your best. How is it different from working towards perfection? Well, you can achieve excellence. Anybody can achieve excellence because it's your personal excellence of, did I give my all? Did I give my best? Did I do what I could have done, what I should have done? And if you answer yes to those questions, then the end result of your efforts is your version of excellence. But if you struggle with perfection because perfection is something you personally can't seem to ever achieve, that's when you have to let go of it. Focus on excellence instead. And like I said earlier, there are people who will focus on perfection and they know when they've achieved it, it's not an issue for them. You're fine. But if perfection is that elusive end goal you can never meet, you can never attain, and it's only causing you more stress in your life, you have to let go of it. I realize that letting go of perfection is easier said than done for many, because if that's what your normal has been up until now, then me just telling you to let go of perfection and replace it with excellence is not that easy. It's something that's going to take some time, some effort, and some practice. So what do? Well, you go about your normal business, but you keep reminding yourself that what you're striving for is excellence, not perfection. Are you going to slip? Yes, of course. Are you going to go backwards a little bit? Sure, that's possible. But the important point is to keep going forward, to keep moving forward, to keep readjusting your course so that you're not making that turn towards perfection if you can never achieve it, but rather keep course correcting towards excellence. And again, what's the difference? Excellence is something that you can achieve. Excellence will look different for different people, but it has to be honest. All of these things, all of these exercises, all of these attempts to make things better for ourselves, they have to be honest. We have to be honest with ourselves. You can't do a half-hearted job and say, that is my version of excellence, because you know it's not. Other people may not know that, but you know it's not. So that's not your excellence. You just gave half your efforts. So rather than aiming for perfection, especially for those of you who have a hard time achieving it, it's never quite perfect. Aim for excellence. Everybody can achieve their personal excellence as long as you gave it your all, you worked as hard as you can work on something, you gave it as much time and attention as you could, you were honest, you were genuine. Aim for that. And people will recognize your efforts. People will recognize your excellence. There's no need to work on attaining something that you personally, you individually struggle with, such as perfection, only to beat yourself up every day that you haven't achieved it. What's the point of that? There's no point of that. It's only going to add to the stress and anxiety and lost sleep and unhappiness and misery in your life. It can make you procrastinate. Why get involved in that? And if you're already experiencing that as your norm, why stay involved in that? I strongly advise that for those of you who struggle with perfection and never being able to realistically achieve it, change from perfection to excellence. It's like changing from one brand of coffee to the next, or whatever your analogy could be that's most effective for you. Change from that which is unattainable for you, which gives you stress and grief, to that which can make it possible for you. Because you are absolutely 100% capable of excellence. You have to put in the time and the effort. It has to be real. It has to be genuine. But it doesn't need to be painful. It doesn't need to be unattainable. It doesn't need to be stressful. So, like so many things in life, it's a choice. And I'm pointing out the difference to you. I'm pointing out that you may yourself be struggling with this journey that doesn't seem to have a successful ending of chasing after perfection, where instead you can take that fork in the road and aim for excellence instead. I strongly urge you to consider what your habit and your own experience is like with that. And if you find that your chase of perfection only gives you more grief, then it's time to switch and aim for excellence instead. If you'd like to learn more about a comprehensive approach to stress management, check out the link below.